Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and today we are going to be cleaning out the throttle body on this Jeep TJ. First thing you're going to want is a 5/16. You are going to loosen off the clamp right here, so that way we can slip this pipe off. So first put it on, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and loosen this bolt. Once that clamp's nice and loose, and you can feel it will be loose, you just grab this and you wiggle it around, and it comes right off, like that. Once that moves over, look how dirty the edge of this butterfly plate is. Also, if we look at our idler way right here, we're going to clean that out too, because that's probably, we can already tell it's very dirty. So first thing you're going to want is a can of throttle body cleaner. So get that, get yourself, if you can, a toothbrush, grab your throttle body cleaner like so, grab it and just shoot everything a little bit. You'll see it's getting a little bit of black around there. And the reason why we're doing that, we're just throwing a little bit on here, so that way, look at that, tons coming off from around the rim. Let that sit there for a second, and then once it sits there and kind of gets in on the stuff, just take a rag and start wiping it out. It'll help loosen up all that carbon so we can clean it up. Also spray a little bit just in there, that's your idler right here, and that's just so we can get that out too. Because when we flip open this plate, first we're going to grab a cloth though, so it isn't so full right here, but we'll wipe this all up, and it's already looking a lot better. This was completely black in here when I first started, so from this point, like I said, just take a cloth, wipe it all up, and whatever we don't get with the cloth, we're going to get with a toothbrush. The other thorough way of doing this is if you loosen off these 4 bolts, disconnect these 2, we can flip the throttle body up on its side, and then we can also take this part off and we can clean off in here. I might just do that because I want to give this thing a nice, I want it to basically look new. It's just a 10 mil on the 4 bolts. With these, if you're going to take off the plugs, just grab, squeeze this in, pull out, do the same with all 3 of them, and just to get those free. Right here, just grab, pull back, and you should be able to see these just slip off. For this last one, you'll just grab and you'll push down and it slips right off. So this one's a slip, this one's a pop out. Partially shiny, completely black. That's what it looked like before I started cleaning. So I'm gonna take this a little bit farther apart and clean it right up. So just grab it, twist it all the way open, and then you can start shooting the sidewalls and stuff and cleaning it out. I'm also gonna take a Torx and pull all the sensors off, so that way I can just pretty much soak this block and get it all out with throttle body cleaner. If we take a look at that. It's starting to look good on both sides. I'm going to clean up that side a little bit more. Every time I squirt it, more looks better. Right now we're going to pull off the idler right here, so that way, or the sensor right here, so that way we can clean the idler to make sure that entire area is nice and shiny. Because if that's not picking up, of course, your vehicle isn't going to read proper. Take a T20 Torx and just those 4 bolts. Look at all that black in there. It definitely has to get cleaned out. And right there as well, that's all got to be cleaned out. That is all carbon, and as you can see, I put my finger on it. I'm going to kind of clean that up the best I can, but we'll see what I can do. That's a little better, eh? Perfect. That's going to read a heck of a lot better. In this part, make sure you check this O-ring out, make sure there's no dings or stuff, but I popped it out so I could clean. Now I'm going to pop it back in and pop that sensor back in. So I've popped every one of the sensors off. You'll notice that this one has a little tube that I have sitting right here. I'm going to take that tube and I'm going to blow some of the throttle cleaner through there to make sure it's actually seeping through. This throttle body is looking a heck of a lot better. I just want to blow it through a little bit more, and I don't want to plug any sensors by blowing it through. So we're getting there. If you look right there, now we can see daylight through the tip of that sensor. Before we couldn't see any light, so that's a really good sign. Now that everything's cleaned up, I've sprayed it all down, and I'm very, very fine with how this is. It's nice and shiny. It's time to reassemble. Again, just make sure that you check your gaskets. If your gaskets look like they're worn out or they've got pieces and stuff, if they're just disintegrating, time to replace them. My gaskets look fine. I'm just going to give them a once over, but other than that, just reassemble it. After it's all back together, that's what you should sound like. It might have a little bit rough idle as it's going at first because of if you had the fluid get in there, it's gonna pull it all out, burn it up, and shoot it out. So if it sounds like really choppy idle at first, don't freak right out, especially if you made some gaskets. You might think something happened. But yeah, anyways, that's all there is to this. Press like if it helped you out and subscribe for more. So far, she is sounding really, really good.